So after recently watching Chris Weidman, the former champ, get punched in the face non-stop for about 45 seconds, I figured, hey, it might be a good idea to teach you guys how to escape from full mount so that you don't get punched in the face for 45 seconds. And on top of that, I'll teach you how to move from this escape immediately into a knee and ankle shredding leg lock that will tear your opponent's joints to pieces and also end the fight instantaneously. You go from a bad position to victory in 1.45 seconds. According to my stopwatch. Now this video is actually the first in a series of videos on leg locks, which are some of the most disgusting self-defense moves in all of martial arts. Watch all 4 videos and you'll be Steven Seagal level dangerous. Old school Seagal, of course. Now in video number 2, I'm going to introduce you to one of my coaches and he's going to show you how you can end a fight in 5 seconds or less from your feet by snapping your opponent's leg, which will surprise the crap out of everybody. Surprise! You got no legs. Now in video number 3, we're going to talk about inescapability and some little secret modifications you can make to your leg locks, which will prevent anybody from getting out of them. Even black belts in jiu-jitsu won't be able to escape. So basically, nobody will be safe from your diabolical clutches. And in video number 4, I'll mostly make fun of you and try to sell you things. It's a good one. Let's start by escaping your opponent's full mount, which is not this awesome. Stay focused. Stay focused. Now this has nothing to do with the move that I'm going to show you today, but if somebody's on top of you, punching you in the face repeatedly, at the very least, put your elbows in front of the guy's thighs and bump your hips. Now you can see Deontay had to put his hands on the mat instead of punching me in the face to catch himself. That allowed me to reach up, tie him in tight, and at least delay. Now, of course, I still have to escape from here, and we're not going to escape from here today, but maybe I can kind of hold the guy in here for long enough for one of my friends to kick him in the face. Now, if your violent friends are unavailable, you're going to have to escape yourself, so let's get to it. All right, to execute this escape today, you're going to need a movement called a scoot or a shrimp, so I'm going to show you that very quickly. From your back, one of your feet is going to drive into the ground, pushing you onto the other hip. Okay, and while you push on your hip, you're actually going to slide your hips back and away from the kind of direction you're pushing here. Now, of course, you need to do this with somebody on top of you, so it'll help if you do it maybe a little bit more explosively. So you can call this perhaps a power scoot or a jumbo shrimp. Hey, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go ahead and pause this video for a second and shrimp around on your floor. And if your floor is disgusting, clean it so you can practice. You filthy animal. All right, so let's escape from mount and tear our opponent's leg to shreds. I'm gonna do that by scooting 2 times in this direction, away from the camera, while also blasting Deontay in the opposite direction. So I'm just gonna straight up chest palm chest. That doesn't make any sense.
Gut check.
Gut check.
That sounds good, I think.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's try it out. I'm going to scoot my right foot away from you guys while also gut checking D in the chest as hard as I can. Now I'm actually going to scoot twice while I do this off of my right foot. So it'll look like this. 1, 2. Okay? Now I do this because typically with 1 scoot, it's just not quite enough to get where I want. 1 scoot, D still got balance. 2 scoots, now all of a sudden that leg really comes out. And again, I'm pushing him this way to take his weight that was previously on this knee over to the other side. Scooting twice also makes it really easy for me to get my elbow inside Deontay's leg. That's essential for making space for my knee to shoot through, which is the next step. Spoiler alert, I guess. Now from this position where I've scooted twice, I need to trap Deontay's leg and make sure he does not get it back. Now, in order to do that, the first thing I need to do is to slide my bottom leg knee in up between his legs and shoot that into him right there. Now I have a shin to push into him to keep him back there. Now my other leg, my foot, is gonna clamp up on his hip violently. And now I have 2 things to push into him in case he gets any bright ideas and decides he wants to punch me in the face. Of course, I'm trapping all this in tight, pushing my armpit on his foot. Now all I have to do is finish this heel hook. Let no one off the hook. Pun intended. Now, even if you already know how to throw a heel hook, I have some tricks and secrets that'll make this move as disgusting and devastating as it can possibly be. So enjoy. All right, now here's where we can start unlocking every single bit of disgusting potential from this little sequence. So a heel hook is what's known as a twisting ankle lock. meaning quite simply that if I clamp D's upper leg in place and I twist his lower leg and his heel, that's what applies the move, tearing his ankle ligaments and then his knee ligaments. Or sometimes his knee ligaments first. You never know. Now, in order to heel hook anybody, you have to have a bent leg. So when I clamp my foot up on D's hip, if his leg is straight, I'm gonna drive my knee over violently this way to put a bend in his leg. Now, at the same time that I'm driving this over, I'm actually going to push down with my armpit on his toes, flexing my abs to the side. That increases the angle of the bend in his leg. So here with Deontay's leg straight, I can't even reach back and grab a heel. There's no heel to grab. Clamp this, push this over. Now I have a very easy bite on the guy's heel. Once you have that, the mayhem can begin. But first, now before I teach you the destructive and diabolical part of this move, I want to show you something that's going to help you at higher levels of heel hooking. I want you to be the best hooker that you can be. While I want to bend Deontay's leg by clamping and driving this knee down, and while I usually want to squeeze my legs together to keep his upper leg in place so I can rotate the bottom of it, I don't want to send him into his escape. So an advanced guy, to get out of a heel hook, when I go to apply this thing, he's going to turn and spin in the same direction that I'm applying the heel hook. So if I over clamp this knee, and if I really drive this down and try to squeeze my knees together, I'm sending him into his escape, and we don't want to do that. So the moment I get my foot clamped on the guy's hip, I get enough of a leg bend to finish the heel hook, and then all of my force with this foot goes down into the mat. I don't keep sending him this way. It's here and clamped, and now if he tries to escape, that's fine. That's all the delay that I'm going to need in order to finish this move violently. So we sacrifice some of the bend and some of the isolation and squeeze of the upper leg in order to make the move harder to escape, which is a fair trade-off if you know the best way to apply your heel hook. Now, all heel hooks are going to rotate your opponent's foot and ankle, and most people are going to do that by reaching back and grabbing a gable grip with their hands and using their forearm to bite onto the guy's heel, which is sloppy. Now, the only problem with this is the upper part of your forearm is kind of squishy and gets sweaty sometimes, so you go to grab this thing, sometimes it pops out, you don't have a good enough grip on it, and it becomes problematic. A good traditional heel hooker will actually use the blade on his wrist, the inside of his wrist, to catch the heel here, get a nice tight gable grip, and then rotate the thing up towards his face this way. Unfortunately, 95% of people don't do that. They send their opponent directly into their escape again by clamping this, reaching back, and then turning him in the direction that he wants to go. And that doesn't make any damn sense. Fortunately, my first grappling coach, Dan Fisher, devised a diabolical way of clasping the heel hook, which makes it 10 times tighter and way, way, way more destructive. At least 7 times more destructive. Or 70 times. Yeah. So here's the Dan Fisher method to apply the heel hook, which is so ridiculously tight and destructive, I should probably make you sign a disclaimer. Seriously, don't sue me. So again, I get a nice bend on Deontay's heel, but right away, I'm going to reach my left hand over and grab the heel across my body as I drive down with my armpit here. Now, right off the bat, this is applying the move, and it's giving me twist in the foot. In fact, I could probably tap D out from there just by, again, pushing this down and all the rowing force of my left hand pulling up. So without even adding the right arm in yet, this method is tearing joints. Now, of course, I'm not going to stop there. Once I have this, I'm going to use my right arm to, again, bite using my forearm. Now, also hooking on my hand and then grabbing my own forearm here on the other side. My hand is now an extension of Deontay's heel. That extension gives you more leverage over the joint. It gives you more to bite onto with your other arm. And if you're wearing MMA gloves, that padding gives you another inch of leverage and bite. So there's no more slipping off of heel hooks. And then you finish the lock. So I grab this up, boom, okay? And there it goes. And remember, all of this is done in less than 2 seconds off a mount escape. All right, let's run through the escape into the heel hook. So I'm gonna just blast Deontay's body to the left as I scoot out to the right. Boom, 2 times. I slide this leg in, reaping the leg here, crunch down, apply the heel hook. One more time, full speed. And then the fight is done. You can stand up and walk away. Hey, how about some slow-mo? Now, if you apply this move to completion, usually when your opponent hears his joints explode and all of his ligaments blow apart, he'll freak out, roll around on the ground, call for help, scream, cry, all that good stuff. If your opponent is out of his mind, or if he's really drunk, he may attempt to stand back up again, and he may get back up on his feet, but that leg will not be stable. Now, this move will tear the LCL, lateral collateral ligament, or the ligament on the outside of your opponent's knee. So if he should get up, kick him on the inside of his leg, and he will collapse to the ground. At that point, he probably will not get back up again. It's a bit intense, but so are fights for your life, which are also much easier to win if your opponent can't walk. Leg locks are some of the grossest yet most fantastic self-defense weapons you can possibly add to your arsenal, and you can catch them from any position. Before the takedown, from your guard, when you're on top of the guy, believe it or not, anywhere, as I will show you in this little video series that I'm currently starting. This is the beginning.
It has begun!
Now don't forget to check your email in the next couple of days so you can tune in for video number 2, where my coach Dan Fisher is going to make a glorious cameo and teach you how to crush people with a leg lock from your feet in 5 seconds or less. And it's gonna be awesome. Now, if you haven't already done so, hey, stab the like button as hard as your mouse will tolerate. And if you know anybody who's into this stuff, by all means, post this on their Facebook wall and help a brother out. We will both appreciate it. And otherwise, I hope you learned a lot in this video and you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you in video number 2.
Yeah.